You just showed me where your priorities were right there. Because I held out hope that you weren't just acting a fool because you so mad at him because he cheated on you that you would cheat your child out of a father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Hiding in the house where?
In her mother's bedroom.
But Your Honor.
Did you help hide the other guy in your bedroom when Mr. Hodges came?
They had broke up.
So why you have to hide anybody?
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex.
It was angry sex.
Sex is sex.
It was out of
baby making, love making, hate making.
Your Honor.
Yes?
It was angry sex. I was mad at the fact that she put me at the house.
Here we go, diving headfirst into the drama, with Judge Lake cracking open the legendary saga of Miller versus Rasmussen. Ms. Miller steps into the ring, armed with conviction, aiming to drop the bomb on her ex-lover, Mr. Rasmussen, that he's not the daddy of her adorable 3-year-old munchkin, Zaylee. Mr. Rasmussen, on the flip side, is all in, betting his bottom dollar that he's Zaylee's real dad, throwing shade at Ms. Miller's denials. Buckle up, because what comes next is a wild ride.
Ms. Miller, you're here to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not the father of your 3-year-old daughter, Zaylee Rasmussen.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you've been in an ongoing court battle over custody and have petitioned the court several times for a DNA test, all of which have been denied.
Yes, Your Honor.
Grab your tissues. This part's a tearjerker. Mr. Rasmussen's epic journey. Picture this. Mr. Rasmussen, our dedicated hero, hitting the road, clocking a whopping 160 miles every fortnight just to catch a glimpse of Zaylee, showcasing a level of commitment and wallet drain that deserves its own Netflix special, despite Ms. Miller's ice-cold shoulder. Brace yourself, because the plot is about to do a 360.
I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off. That's about 10,000 miles. That's wear and tear on my car. She doesn't have a driver's license. She doesn't have any way to bring her to me. She doesn't have any way to meet me halfway.
You say she hates?
She hates.
Why does she hate?
She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when things got rocky, I'll admit it, I did go to another woman. I'll be the first to admit that. You know, it was my mistake.
And then, the plot gets juicier. Ms. Miller's twists and turns. Here's where Ms. Miller throws in a curveball, voicing her skepticism about Mr. Rasmussen's paternity claims. She spills the tea that when Zaylee was being knitted in the womb, Mr. Rasmussen was off gallivanting in another state and she was playing house with another chap. Strap in, folks. We're going deeper down the rabbit hole.
When she was conceived in March of 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. And at that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
I'll be the first to admit it was a mistake.
Okay, we've gotten the fact that you two have an on and off relationship that has infidelity woven through.
This moment will have your heart doing backflips. Mr. Rasmussen's undying vow. In a tale as old as time, Mr. Rasmussen gives us the lowdown on his unwavering dedication to Zaylee, narrating his sprint to Ms. Miller's side during the drama of childbirth, painting himself as the ultimate knight in shining armor, dead set on donning the daddy mantle. And then, boom, a plot twist that flips the script.
Born, so she already had your name.
She already had my name.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
That is correct.
Your name's on the birth certificate.
I have that
Jerome,
right.
will you hand me that, please?
I have that right here. My name is. I was at the birth. I was at every single doctor's appointment. When Zaylee was born, you were at a doctor's appointment. I was at home because I had to work that day. I was at my job as a cashier.
Hold on to your hats for this bombshell, the great feature showdown. Mr. Rasmussen steps up, armed with childhood snaps of himself, laying them side by side with Zaylee's, in a bid to draw lines of resemblance that would make a detective proud, all while Ms. Miller shakes her head in disbelief. The next revelation is a real mind-bender.
The more I started noticing more of her features, the more she started looking like the other guy.
She looks exactly like I did when I was 3 years old. I have a picture of me when I was 3 and a picture of her from just the other day.
Let me see that. Will you hand that to me, Jerome?
Believe it or not, when I was 3 years old, I had blonde hair.
And so this is a picture of Zaylee on the left and you, as a child, Mr. Rasmussen, on the right.
You'll never see it coming. The jaw-dropping verdict, an emotional roller coaster. The DNA test results are in, and they drop like a bomb.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father. Miss Miller.
Be respectful.
I'm sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve. You just showed me where your priorities were right there. Because I held out hope that you weren't just acting a fool because you so mad at him.
Can you believe the absolute circus that's unfolding right in front of our eyes? Mr. Hodges, decked out in a suit that screams, "I'm here to win," alongside his mother, who's armed with enough skepticism to power a small town, swings open their case like it's showtime. They're putting all their chips on the table, doubting the paternity of the pint-sized, 1-month-old sensation, Lillian Willard, branding Ms. Willard the queen of deceit and tomfoolery. They're here to prove without a shadow of a doubt that Mr. Hodges isn't the father. On the flip side, Ms. Willard, backed by her own mother, who's just as fiery, stands her ground with a conviction that's over 9,000, claiming that Mr. Hodges is unquestionably Lillian's dad. And just when you think this couldn't turn into more of a soap opera,
Mr. Hodges, you and your mom opened your case today because you both say the defendant is a liar and a cheater. You don't believe you fathered her 1-month-old daughter, Lillian Willard, and plan to prove that today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Willard, you too are here with your mother, and the two of you testify that you are 1,000% sure Mr. Hodges fathered your daughter. Is that correct?
out of left field comes a curveball nobody saw coming. Amidst a backdrop of gasps and popcorn munching, Mr. Hodges throws down the gauntlet, accusing Ms. Willard of playing the field, with a spicy anecdote about stumbling upon a mystery man tucked away in her room. Despite her pinky promises of staying true and transparent, he's convinced she's been playing him for a fool. Ms. Willard, in her defense, spins a tale of innocence, claiming the guy was merely a blast from the past, a childhood buddy making a cameo, hidden from Mr. Hodges to sidestep unnecessary drama. The plot thickens to the consistency of old-school oatmeal, and you won't believe the twist coming up next.
Cheated on me, and I caught her with multiple guys. She had one hidden in the room, and whenever we first got together, she said that she would never hurt me or cheat on me. She would be truthful, and yet she's lied to me left and right.
Miss Willard, you kept lying and you kept cheating?
No, I did not. I had a guy over at my house, yes. He was visiting because he was a childhood friend, and I didn't tell him because I knew he'd flip out because I know how he is.
In a plot twist that would make novelists jealous, the courtroom becomes the stage for the bombshell that Ms. Willard was playing house with Mr. Hodges, while still legally hitched to another dude. A juicy piece of trivia that Mr. Hodges was blissfully unaware of. The collective jaw drop could be felt in the next county, throwing a wrench into the narrative of their whirlwind engagement and the tangled web of their relationship history. The maternal units dive into the fray, their involvement cranking up the drama and emotional stakes to soap opera heights. Grab your snacks and hold on tight, because what's about to unfold will leave you picking your jaw up off the floor.
You found him hiding in the house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hiding in the house where?
In her mother's bedroom.
But
Did you help hide the other guy in your bedroom when Mr. Hodges came?
They had broke up.
So why you have to hide anybody?
Because she didn't want him to know. She didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to start no trouble because Hardy's got a temper.
Well, we was engaged.
It was my understanding they had broke up.
So were you engaged or were you broken up?
We was engaged.
We were engaged.
Things are getting hotter than a summer barbecue. Ms. Blevins, aka Mama Hodges, in a move that could rival any detective drama, whips out text message receipts of Ms. Willard's rendezvous and fabrications, casting even more doubt on the paternity saga of Lillian. These messages, spicier than a ghost pepper, show Ms. Willard in 4K discussing Lillian's debut into the world and who the daddy might be, with another contender suggesting a plot twist that Mr. Hodges might not be the only chef in the kitchen. This bombshell sends suspicions about Lillian's paternity and Ms. Willard's trustworthiness into the stratosphere. But brace yourselves, because there's more drama on the horizon that's going to turn everything upside down.
And you write back, looks that way.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ms. Willard, were you dating this man and Mr. Hodges at the same time?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
So why is this man saying this? He's giving all these specific details to Ms. Blevins.
He was at the hospital when Lillian was...
Yes, I was with him at that time.
Your Honor, he's saying that. He's saying that because he wants my daughter. I've been through it with this person. When, I think it's in February, right after Christmas sometime, when she didn't even know she was pregnant at that time.
The roller coaster of revelations doesn't seem to end. In a courtroom that's now morphed into a stage for Shakespearean twists, Ms. Willard comes clean, admitting to sending Mr. Hodges on a wild goose chase with creative storytelling about Lillian's grand entrance to prevent the crumbling of his marriage fortress. Her confession paints a complex picture of her motives, weaving through her longing for a family unit and her telenovela-esque liaisons with other characters during her pregnancy saga. The courtroom, now doubling as a theater audience, is left scratching their heads, trying to detangle this Gordian knot of fibs to chart a course for Lillian's future.
Ms. Willard, this is too much lying.
I know.
This is just too much lying. Now, I heard about 5 lies already. What is going on? Why are you texting him like the baby isn't born when the baby is born?
He's married now, and I just didn't want to break up a marriage when he found out he had a kid by another person. That's it.
Just when you're convinced the writers have run out of ideas, the moment of truth arrives with the grand unveiling of the DNA test results.
Like I'm being jumped on, basically. Everyone's against me.
Do you also feel like you know you're responsible for a lot of what's happening here?
Yes, and I take credit for that.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hodges, you are the father.
In an utterly jaw-dropping turn of events that no one saw coming, not even the psychic down the street, Ms. Beckley steps up with the confidence of a stand-up comedian on open mic night, claiming Mr. Allen is the bona fide, undeniable biological father of her 1-year-old daughter, Ida Beckley. She's not just asking, she's demanding he step up to the plate. Meanwhile, Mr. Allen is in the corner, shaking his head in disbelief, utterly convinced his only child is his pet goldfish. The drama is so thick you could cut it with a knife. And folks, this emotional rodeo is just getting started.
Ms. Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Italy Beckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Allen has only seen his daughter one time since she has been born, and you want him to take responsibility starting today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
After a start so electrifying it could power a small village, an emotional Ms. Beckley, with the flair of a seasoned soap opera star, pours her heart out about Mr. Allen's ghosting act on their daughter Italy. It's like he's there for their other kiddos, but for Italy, ghosted. This bombshell not only cranks up the personal stakes sky high, but slaps a big, fat question mark on Mr. Allen's responsibility card. This emotional hurricane is picking up speed, and we're all in for a wild ride.
To take responsibility of something we both made, it makes me feel angry. I'm angry. She's without a father, you know, and it's terrible that she has to go through that, and I'm raising her on my own. I just feel like you should be a dad to her, because you are her father.
And you feel like he's just neglecting your child.
Yes, ma'am. He's neglecting her with the other 2 kids we have.
As the tension builds up, we're taken on a trip down memory lane to a steamy encounter between Ms. Beckley and Mr. Allen, post a spicy but brief breakup. Mr. Allen, with the conviction of a man who just remembered he left the stove on, admits to the encounter, but insists the paternity timeline is as suspicious as a cat lurking around an open can of tuna. The layers of complexity here could rival an onion, folks. And trust me, it's making everyone cry. Strap in, because this tale is about to twist and turn faster than a roller coaster with a vendetta.
We were co-parenting. We were still good friends.
That's not true. On Germany's 2nd birthday, he wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex.
It was angry sex.
Sex is sex. Whether it's baby making, love making, hate making, it don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected.
It was angry sex. I was mad at the fact that she put me at the house, that I had been there taking care of her and the children.
Just when you're convinced it couldn't get more bonkers, boom, evidence surfaces showing Mr. Allen playing favorite with his kids faster than a reality TV star, flipping houses. He's all in for some, but for Italy, invisible. The drama meter is off the charts as we navigate through the maze of legal and emotional turmoil over formal daddy acknowledgments. And just when your jaw hits the floor, we're about to drop even more bombshells.
I was at the hospital by myself. He was not there. I have evidence, Your Honor.
I'd like to see it.
He signed Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate. Hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline, and Allen. Father's name's there. Second one, Xavier, Dantes, Tyrell, Jerome, Allen. Father's name is there.
Throwing a curveball into this epic saga, Mr. Allen steps into the spotlight, trying to paint a picture of himself as the victim, sidelined in Italy's life by an invisible force field allegedly put up by Ms. Beckley. It's a tale of missed birthdays and whispered lullabies, folks. But is he the hero of his story or the villain? Grab your popcorn, because this tale of tangled co-parenting webs is about to add another layer of intrigue.
The other kids, Mr. Allen, but not spend time with or bond with Italy.
Well, Your Honor, I have a question, Shamia, about Italy. You know, I asked could I speak to her. She say no. You know, I asked when she come, well, while us having a visitation every other week, we have swap and exchange at a police station. We don't bring Italy. Make Italy a factor to my life. She gave
You're denying her. Why would I bring her to see you?
Just when you thought the air couldn't get any thicker with tension, enter stage left Mr. Allen's fiancée, Cheyenne Montgomery, bringing with her a whirlwind of rumors and a dash of sass, suggesting there's more to Mr. Allen's paternity doubts than meets the eye. Her tales of Ms. Beckley's so-called escapades add spice to the stew, turning this dispute into a full-blown telenovela. The stakes are at sky-high levels, folks, as we gear up for a climax you won't forget.
Before she said anything, Your Honor, she has nothing to do with it. Whatever she says is false and is irrelevant. She don't know me, I don't know her.
Okay, let me be the judge of that since I'm the judge.
I'm Darius' fiance, Your Honor. She has told Darius that he was not the father. It's been said that she's told another guy he was the father.
Okay, y'all got proof of that, and y'all fiancés, where the ring at?
Girl, mind your business.
Where the ring at, right? You have no business, that's why you're here. Because you worried about, was you in the bed with me when we had her?
With everyone on the edge of their seats, the atmosphere buzzing with anticipation, the grand unveiling of the DNA test results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. Stepmama.
Stop.
Your Honor.
We kick things off with Miss Jackson storming onto the scene, guns blazing, vowing to uncover the truth behind the scandalous claim that her husband's mistress's newborn, little Kaasia, shares his DNA. She's adamant that if this baby drama turns out to be reality, she's slamming the door on her marriage for good. Buckle up, because you're in for a wild ride.
Miss Jackson, you say you're here to confront your husband's mistress and to prove her 1-month-old daughter, Kaasia, is not his biological
Yes, Your
daughter.
Honor.
Miss Lipscomb, you say that you have no doubt your child is her husband's daughter. You claim he had sex with you.
The plot thickens, and the air is crackling with tension. Enter Miss Lipscomb, strutting in with confidence soaring through the roof, insisting her baby girl is the spitting image of Miss Jackson's hubby. She throws down the gauntlet, daring Miss Jackson to face the music. Brace yourselves, because the drama is about to skyrocket.
Tell me, how did you find out your husband may be having a child with his mistress?
Your Honor, I got an epiphany. Call it woman's intuition, whatever you want. Well, I went to my husband's job. It was about 9:30 or 10:30 at night. Talked for a few minutes, and to end our conversation, I told him.
Things just got real. The stage is set for an epic showdown as Miss Jackson dishes the dirt on how she caught wind of her husband's side escapades. The bombshell drops when she encounters Miss Lipscomb, who casually drops the "Oh, by the way, I'm the other woman and I'm pregnant" line. Your jaw is going to drop at what's next.
There's something going on that you hadn't told me. He had been distant in the days prior to. I had put him out. Your Honor, and as we were standing outside talking, we were in the front of the building. The defendant pops up in the car like she's Ricky Raccoon or somebody, Your Honor. Upon hearing my voice, I turned around and I went and knocked on the window. I asked her if she knew my husband. I called him by name. She said she did. She introduced herself as his girlfriend.
The saga takes a nosedive into chaos. The revelation that Miss Lipscomb was in the know about Mr. Jackson's ring on his finger, but decided to roll with the punches anyway, sends shockwaves through the audience. It's a tangled web of love, deceit, and betrayal. The temperature's rising, and the drama's about to explode.
So, Miss Lipscomb, upon meeting her, she told me she was 3 weeks pregnant. This was November 25th. He wears his wedding, well, not lately, Your Honor, but he wore his wedding band faithfully. If I see a wedding band on a man's finger, then I ain't gonna continue to talk to him. It ain't no...
Get your popcorn ready. The courtroom drama hits fever pitch as Mr. Jackson saunters in, oozing regret, or is that just sweat? The spotlight's on him, and it's his moment to either shine or sink as he faces the music. Trust me, the pot is just starting to simmer.
Hey, watch your step going up the steps.
Mr. Jackson, thank you for joining us today.
How you doing, Your Honor?
I'm still here because I'm listening to a mess.
Yeah?
I am listening to a situation here.
He created it, Your
and
Honor.
you are in the middle of it.
You helped.
Plot twist of the century. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more convoluted, Miss Jackson drops the bomb that she's also expecting Mr. Jackson's bundle of joy. The plot thickens into a veritable stew of dilemmas, leaving us wondering about the fate of their rocky romance. Strap in, because the roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
Your Honor, not only have we had conversations, before I didn't deny the child, I went and bought over $900 and some worth for her baby, Your Honor.
And you did that because...
Like I told her, from the conversation, Your Honor, she seemed really distraught. She said that, I don't know how it feels not to know who your child's father is, Your Honor.
The tension is unbearable as the paternity debate hits its crescendo. Miss Lipscomb throws a curveball by revealing Mr. Jackson's name is on the birth certificate, making him the legal daddy-o. It's a legal and emotional quagmire that's as complicated as a soap opera. The finale is upon us, and it's going to be a doozy.
Yes. And Mr. Jackson, did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes.
You did? Jackson, you've acknowledged paternity.
Yeah.
Your Honor, that's why the baby was placed on my benefit.
She keeps saying that the baby is placed on her benefit. Anything for my
placed
child.
on my benefit, Your Honor. I also have proof of that, Your Honor.
Let me see that paper.
At which time that child becomes my dependent as well on my benefit.
They have not paid for anything for my child.
The grand finale we've all been on the edge of our seats for. In a twist that nobody saw coming, the paternity test results are in.
When it comes to 1-month-old Kaasia Jackson, Mr. Jackson, you are not the father. Now it's not even her husband's child. After all of this, what about this beautiful little baby? Do you know who her father is?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is he gonna want to be a part of her life?
No, probably not.
Miss Russell claims Mr. Shepard denies paternity of their 10-month-old daughter Armani and pawned her engagement ring, calling off their wedding in what could be the most dramatic episode of Pawn Stars yet. She hopes the paternity test will prove him to be the father and dreams of marrying him someday, or at least getting a guest spot on Maury. Mr. Shepard, on the other hand, expresses his denial of paternity, suspecting infidelity on Miss Russell's part, and possibly blaming the milkman, because why not?
You claim that Mr. Shepard has been denying the paternity of your 10-month-old Armani. You say he even took back your engagement ring, pawned it, and called off your wedding. You have petitioned the court for a paternity test to prove to him that he is the father of your daughter. You say you hope that today's results will go your way and someday you'll both still marry.
Oh, it's gonna go my way.
Can you even? Mr. Shepard is trying to get Miss Russell to take a lie detector test like it's a game show challenge, making their court fight feel more like they're competing for a spot on the most dramatic relationship ever. This whole thing screams trust issues and drama, as if untangling their mess wasn't already like trying to separate headphones that have been in your pocket for too long. The judge is all in for this circus, promising us more popcorn moments. And oh boy, you're gonna want to stick around for the next act.
You have also petitioned the court order Ms. Russell to take a lie detector test, prove whether or not she has been faithful to you.
Yes.
Grab your popcorn as Miss Russell and Mr. Shepard spill the tea on their wild ride together. It's like watching a telenovela, but without the ad breaks to breathe. Miss Russell talks about how Mr. Shepard tried to control her every move and doesn't even want to admit their second kiddo is his. This saga paints them as the king and queen of Dramaland, serving us a hot reminder that talking things out might actually work wonders. Buckle up, the ride gets even wackier from here.
Well, really, like, he kept calling me, begging me to come home, and I told him
when I was calling her, she wasn't answering the phone.
Yes, I
was texting. She didn't answer the phone or
yes,
nothing.
So you're at your cousin.
Yes.
Are you or are you not taking his call?
In the beginning, no, I wasn't.
Okay.
But at the end, yes, I did start taking his call.
I've been calling ever since she left.
So how long was that?
When she left, I say like a couple of hours after that, I started calling her because a lot of men be over there.
Next up on this soap opera, in a courtroom buzzing with the kind of tension you'd find in a reality TV finale. The judge looks like he's trying to solve the world's hardest crossword puzzle, all while eyeing a calendar. This calendar isn't just for marking dentist appointments. It's the key to a paternity mystery twistier than a bag of pretzels. With Miss Russell and Mr. Shepard glaring from their corners, we're all holding our breath for the big ta-da moment. This is the juicy bit where timelines and drama collide. And trust me, you'll want to see what's next.
To me, talking about she pregnant. How you could be pregnant and you wasn't even much with me? Me and you not having sex.
Submitted dates to the court. You felt like she was missing, and you feel like that coincides with when the child was conceived. So the pink is the estimated time of conception, which is the 1st January, and possibly the last that Ms. Russell had left the house. So as we can see, child's birthday's in late September, counting back.
Oh, it gets juicier. The moms take the stand, throwing in their 2 cents and turning the whole story on its head. Miss Russell's mom teams up with Mr. Shepard, dropping bombshells about her daughter's loyalty. This plot twist has us reeling, showcasing the crazy family vibes that make you wonder if you're watching a reality show. The courtroom's shook, and somewhere, a dramatic chipmunk is taking notes for its big break. But hold your horses, the next part is a real doozy.
He had his mother to come to the hospital to prove to him that that was his son.
Okay, hold on one second. Since we're talking about mothers here, I'd like to hear from them personally. I'd like to go the defendant's witness first. Please state your name for the record.
Vanita Russell.
And you
I'm the mother of Gina.
Oh, you're Gina's mother.
Yes, ma'am.
But you're Mr. Shepard's witness.
Yes.
And then, bam, the lie detector spills the beans. Miss Russell was honest about not getting cozy with her guy pal, but fibbed about other rendezvous. This plot twist hits like a reality show finale, confirming Mr. Shepard's suspicions and throwing their chances of making up into a blender. The crowd's reaction is everything, and you can almost hear the lie detector machine taking a victory lap. Get ready, the next scene is gonna have you rolling.
Did you ever have sexual intercourse with your male best friend? You answer no. The lie detector determined you were telling the truth.
Whoop, there it is.
Have you ever had sexual intercourse with any other man during your relationship with Mr. Shepard? You answered
No.
No. The lie detector determined that was a lie.
I ain't never cheated on him.
The lie detector test don't lie.
I ain't never cheated on him, Your Honor. I'm telling the truth.
In a story that's got more twists than a pretzel factory on overtime, we've got Mr. Shepard and his baby prodigy, Armani, tangled up in a daddy dilemma that's juicier than a reality TV show. Picture this, the DNA test results are in, and guess what?
When it comes to 10-month-old Armani, Mr. Shepard, you are the father. How do you feel?
I mean, I feel good about that, you know what I'm saying? Because that was what I was concerned about. That's my daughter now, but since that's my daughter, I'm going to take care of her. Like I take care of my son. So, ain't no problem with that, but with her, I don't know.
Miss Harris finds herself in the middle of a romantic pickle, entangled in a love triangle with her current beau, Mr. Murray, and her ex-flame, Mr. Donaldson. Both gentlemen are locking horns, claiming to be the daddy-o of her daughter, Anya. As Miss Harris steps up to untangle this web, she's essentially setting the scene for a drama-packed episode that could give primetime soap operas a run run for their money. It's a tale of love, confusion, and baby daddy mysteries that could only be spiced up if Maury Povich himself popped out with a DNA test in hand. Just when you think it can't get any crazier, the next scene takes the cake. Buckle up, because what comes next is a roller coaster ride of emotions.
You have been caught in a love triangle. There are 2 men in court today claiming to have fathered your 18-month-old daughter, Anaya, your current boyfriend, the plaintiff, Mr. Murray, and the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Donaldson. They are both in court today to prove paternity. So, Ms. Harris, please come join me here.
Imagine this. Miss Harris and Mr. Donaldson are in the middle of a love story that's gone a bit pear-shaped. Picture Mr. D strolling around looking for love in all the wrong places, just as Miss Harris is in the kitchen, metaphorically speaking, with a baby bun warming up in the oven. And she's flying solo. But wait, there's a twist. Just when things seem bleak, both Mr. D and another mystery gent start competing in the Who's Your Daddy Olympics, each trying to outdad the other during Miss Harris's pregnancy. It's like watching a paternity game of roulette. Everyone's got their chips on either red or black, but that roulette ball is still doing laps.
Tell me about your relationship with Mr. Donald.
From my understanding, we was dating. But then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl, and he told me that he didn't want to be with me. So I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower, and he came to the hospital with his mom when I had her.
So wait, you're dating Mr. Donaldson, you're in a relationship. You all are boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, we were.
And so you're boyfriend and girlfriend, and you find out you're pregnant while you're in the relationship with him?
Yes.
And you tell him you're pregnant, and he accepts that you're pregnant and it's my baby.
Well, he didn't believe I was pregnant.
Oh, he didn't even believe you were pregnant?
No.
You didn't believe she was pregnant, Mr. Donaldson?
Not at the beginning.
By claiming that she was pregnant because you told her you were in love with somebody else.
Yeah, sure.
So did you find out he wanted to be in a relationship with somebody else before you got pregnant or after you got pregnant?
It was after I got pregnant.
The intensity is mounting, isn't it? The plot thickens as Miss Harris and Mr. Donaldson wade through their romantic chronology, with Mr. Murray's daddy credentials getting shaky after Mr. Donaldson drops a bombshell, suggesting a DNA showdown. This revelation unwraps a whole new level of complicated, with a past menage a trois adding more twists than a daytime drama. It turns the paternity puzzle into a full-blown circus, leaving everyone wondering if they'll need to bring in a team of geneticists just to map out the family tree. In this game of Who's Your Daddy, the only winner is the popcorn industry, as we all sit back and watch the drama unfold, and you won't believe what's coming next. It's a game changer. The stage is set for a climax that will leave everyone speechless.
Why do you believe you could be the biological father of this child?
One day I was on Facebook and I got a message from Jalen, told me that the baby could possibly be mine.
So you get a message from Mr. Donaldson?
Yeah, I need to get a DNA test.
You sent him that message, Mr. Donaldson?
I don't recall. I'm not gonna say yes, I'm not gonna say no. I don't recall.
And wait, what, you just saw a message. And what did you say when you got that?
I said, are you sure? Then I had to ask her how she was feeling about it, because I was going around her family and they was telling me that she looked just like me.
They start telling you that the baby looks just like you.
Exactly like.
So, Miss Harris, why are you so convinced that Mr. Donaldson is the father if you admittedly had sex with Mr. Murray?
Because during that time, he used protection. And from the time that he's talking about he could be her father is from a time in December.
Imagine a courtroom drama that outdoes any reality TV show finale you've ever seen. Here's the scene. The judge, channeling the energy of a primetime show host, steps up with a microphone in hand. There's a dramatic drum roll, the kind that makes your heart race. And the air is so thick with suspense, you could cut it with a knife. Everyone's on the edge of their seats, holding their breath like they're watching the last seconds of a nail-biting season ender. And the DNA results are in. The judge pauses for effect, milking the moment.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Gerald Donaldson, you are not the father. Ms. Harris, is there anything else you need to say in court before we go to the next result? Are you ready for me to read the result? When it comes to 18-month-old Anaya Harris, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Murray, you are not the father. Miss Harris?
It's okay.
We got you.
I don't want to be on the camera no more, no.
Miss Brooks and Mr. Page's conflicting views on the paternity of their son, Evian, set the stage for the emotional and complex dynamics to unfold. Miss Brooks feels abandoned and betrayed as Mr. Page denies paternity based on suspicions of infidelity. It's like an episode of Maury, but without the comforting presence of a TV host, ready to hug it out or run after you when the truth gets too hard to handle. And just when you think you've seen it all, the plot thickens. If you thought that was intense, just wait until you see what's next.
You state that after After getting out of a 9-year relationship, you fell in love with Mr. Page, a younger man who you say swept you off your feet. You claim both you and Mr. Page plan to have a child together, but since giving birth to your son, Ivion, Mr. Page is now denying the child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Page, you state you know the child isn't yours because Ms. Brooks was having an ongoing affair with another man and has even posted pictures on social media to that effect.
Just when you thought the plot couldn't thicken anymore, enter Mr. Wilson, stage left, with a mysterious grin and a knack for turning the drama dial up to 11. Picture this. Evion's life is already a labyrinth of emotions, twists and turns, kind of like a soap opera that decided to take a detour through a mystery novel. And then there's Mr. Wilson, who swoops in, adding more layers to the narrative, like he's trying to bake the world's most complex lasagna.
Right, and that's the next one that I got right here, Your Honor.
These are all photos of you.
All dedicated to
Mr.
Mr.
Wilson. That's the baby in there?
Yes.
But that's just a picture of me.
But they always with each other.
It's one of his profile pictures.
Yes, I'm the best thing that's...
I mean, look at that.
And then that's Mr. Wilson with Ivion.
Yes, and he has been there. Like, he is really upset because...
How has he been there?
He's
I've
been there because
I live
you're
right there
not.
with him. I buy
Okay,
milk,
but
I buy what I got.
when you're not
for my
there, he
potential
is
child.
there. Do things, but he does the bare minimum.
I do the bare minimum, but I buy milk whenever she needs to. I'm the first person she calls when she needs something.
Every moment seems to unveil a new layer of drama. The emotional and physical absence of Mr. Page during significant moments, contrasted with Mr. Wilson's presence, further fuels the dispute. Accusations and defenses highlight the deep emotional rifts and the impact on their child. Meanwhile, Mr. Page seems to be competing for the World's Most Mysterious Disappearance Award, leaving Mr. Wilson to fill in the gaps like a substitute teacher in a class that's gone wild. The plot thickens, and you won't believe what comes next. Prepare yourself. The next revelation is a game changer.
He wasn't even there. He was there for the birth.
Oh, hold on. That's a lie. I was there. I waited till he was born and I left. I had to go to work. I can't call out 2-3 days in a row thinking I'm gonna still have a job. They don't care about that, so I had to go to work.
I'm afraid to ask, but after Mr. Page left, did Mr. Wilson make an appearance?
Yes.
Yes, he made an appearance, but way later. Because I made him
He didn't come to the next day, but when I come to the place, I got my son ready to walk out the door. There's some lady like, oh, that's not your son. I seen some other guy holding him. Like,
really?
Yes.
This tale is more tangled than you could imagine. The revelation of Mr. Wilson spreading rumors about his relationship with Miss Brooks and claiming paternity leads to an intense confrontation and questioning of his motives and truthfulness. It's like Mr. Wilson decided to play Chinese whispers with the whole neighborhood, but every whisper is a plot twist no one saw coming. The next chapter in this saga is about to add another layer of intrigue. Trust me, you'll be on the edge of your seat.
Have you told people, Mr. Wilson, that you're Ivion's father?
Your Honor, yes. See, what happened was, it was this girl I was dealing with, and to make her mad and make her jealous because she had an issue with Miss Brooks because her hair was long and she wear tracks and Miss Brooks has on fingernails, she has on press-ons. I was just making her be jealous. But due to social media is something else. Let me tell you. She put all my business up. I think Santa Claus even know about the situation.
And he got too many. He's a thot. He got too many baby mamas already.
The climax is more shocking than anyone could have predicted. In the grand finale that has everyone's jaw on the floor, Mr. Page stands center stage, clutching the paternity test like it's a golden ticket. The room is silent, every eye glued to the envelope in his hand. With the dramatic flair of a seasoned soap opera star, Mr. Page tears it open. The tension could be sliced with a butter knife. Just when you think you've seen it all, remember, there's always more to the story.
Wilson, are you in love with Miss Brooks?
Yeah, I do pretty time. Yeah, I'm in love with her, but I would step a train that boundary with them two have together as far as Mr. Page. But if it came to a chance down the line, yeah, I would if she would allow it, but I don't step in that boundary. I just keep it as...
This is not the truth. You are not sleeping with him, never slept with him?
No, not at all.
But he's telling people you have.
Right.
He's telling people he's your child's father. And
nobody's picking up the phone. I'm walking all around.
So what about when you disappear for days at a time?
I don't disappear. I go
yes,
to
you
work.
do. You disappear for days at a time. Then you would know where your son was at.
And sometimes she'll call, my pocket might pick it up. She'll be on the phone for a whole hour, sitting there listening. You was talking to, there was so much conversations going on around.
In an astonishing turn of events, the court reveals the results.
As it pertains to 8-month-old Ivion Page, as to whether Mr. Page or Mr. Wilson is the biological father, it has been determined by this: you are not the father.
Told you.
Mr. Page, you are the father.
Told you. Told you. Prove that. All of this.
It makes no sense that you with somebody who keep lying on you.
A new case starts with Mr. Kennedy denying paternity of Ms. Pope's 3-month-old son, Christian. He believes Ms. Pope is looking for someone to pin her child on due to her previous relationships. Their backstory unfolds, highlighting a brief, uncommitted relationship filled with misunderstandings and accusations. Meanwhile, Ms. Pope insists that her only mistake was believing Mr. Kennedy's claim of being an aspiring astronaut, thinking it meant he was reliable. The twist in their story is just around the corner, and it's one you won't want to miss. And trust me, the curveballs just keep coming.
Aim to be a nice guy who was forced to make the tough decision to drag the defendant to court to prove you did not father her 3-month-old son, Christian. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pope, you and your mother are insulted that Mr. Kennedy denies paternity and refused to acknowledge your child. You say he laid down with you and now he has to step up and pay. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Kennedy, why do you believe that Ms. Pope claims you're the father of her 3-month?
I believe she's just looking for someone to pin it on or pick up the slack from her previous, encounter.
The stakes have never been higher. Just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, as the case progresses, it's revealed that Ms. Pope had mentioned other potential fathers, casting doubt on Mr. Kennedy's paternity. Their relationship's casual nature complicates the situation, with Mr. Kennedy seeking clarity and Ms. Pope demanding support and acknowledgement of her child. The judge, tired of the he said, she said, suggests they settle this the old-fashioned way, a rock, paper, scissors match. The courtroom chuckles, knowing full well the DNA test results are the only game changer here. But wait, the plot thickens even further in the next scene. You won't believe what happens next.
You did make the decision to kind of pull back from this relationship. And so when she says he starts being a jerk and not returning my calls, the truth is you were doing.
Yeah, I admit it, yeah.
All right.
I found out that I was pregnant at 6 weeks. I had a cutie one morning and threw it up at work. I put the 2 and 2 together. It wasn't rocket science, and I knew that I was pregnant.
And Mr. Kennedy, do you remember when she told you she was pregnant?
She told me around May or June or July. At that point, she had said there were 2 other gentlemen involved, and I had asked her, could it potentially be mine? And she said, no, you're in the clear. So at that point, I
never said he was in the clear.
Hold on to your seats because this next part is a doozy. Ms. Pope whips out a baby picture to break the news to Mr. Kennedy about his potential VIP pass to fatherhood, stirring up a mix of skepticism and eyebrow raises. After all, the plot thickens with the mention of a lineup of potential daddies previously disclosed. This cinematic moment wasn't just a cliffhanger, it was a full-on soap opera twist, underscoring the desperate quest for crystal clear answers amidst the murky waters of paternity puzzles. The courtroom drama escalates to a whole new level next, so don't look away. The next twist is something no one saw coming.
He never told me who was on the other side of his gate. I also found out that there was another woman in his life that also had a child 3 months prior to me. If he would have told me that he wasn't with somebody else and that she was also pregnant, I would have never even bothered with him.
Listen, I mean, it sounds like both of you admitted that it was just a relationship where you were friends with benefits. So you didn't have a commitment. And that's why I say all of the time, young people, you all having sex and playing it like it's Monopoly, and it's not better with more people.
Prepare for an ending you'll never forget. And then, with a drumroll worthy of a reality TV finale, the DNA results zoom in.
When it comes to 3-month-old Christian Pope, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Kennedy, you are the father. You are the father.
Hold your horses because the episode starts with Judge Lake pulling a magic show opener, getting everyone hyped up before jumping headfirst into today's hot mess. Ms. Johnson, caught in a love spaghetti that's more twisted than headphone cords, trying to untangle the mystery of whether her lover or her husband is the real daddy of her daughter. You'll be glued to your seat for what's coming up next.
And I want my name put on the birth certificate, and I wanted to be able to see her anytime I get ready.
Oh, now, take me back. How did you meet Miss Johnson in the first place?
It was during the summer of '08. Partner and myself, we was riding, and I went by a family member house of hers, and she was out on the porch and had on some little short shorts, and we exchanged numbers.
Just when you think it can't get crazier, Mr. Anderson spills the beans on his wild ride of a romance with Ms. Johnson, a story so full of twists and turns, you'd think it was cooked up in a soap opera writer's room. From sneaky texts to emotional whirlwinds, this love triangle could give Shakespeare a run for his money. Buckle up, because the next bit is a doozy.
How she had, messed around before on her husband.
So you feel like you were in a relationship?
We were for a certain time, like I said, things was good when he was gone because he wasn't there. They were separated. He wasn't there. And she was spending a lot of...
And then, boom, they roll out a calendar to map out Ms. Johnson's love life showdown between the two gents, with dates overlapping faster than you can say Maury Povich. Ms. Johnson cracks a joke about making Excel her new BFF for tracking her love interests. And oh boy, you won't believe the twist that's about to drop.
I was with them.
Thank you. All right, you have here that outlined in yellow are the dates you were intimate with Mr. Anderson, which would be the plaintiff. Now, outlined in green, you have the dates that you admittedly were intimate with your husband, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
And then outlined in red are when you could have conceived.
Yes, ma'am.
Out of the blue, Ms. Johnson drops a bomb about not knowing who the real daddy is, turning her pregnancy into a guessing game that's more Maury than Maury itself, minus the screaming matches and with more spreadsheet action. Hang on to your hats, because the next part will flip your lid.
And so when you came up pregnant, did you know exactly who the father was?
No, ma'am, I didn't know. I was up front with my husband. I told him that I was pregnant, that I wasn't 100% sure that it was his, but he was excited. He said, we're going to do this. I also called Mr. Anderson and told him that I was pregnant, that I was going to be with my husband.
Then, like a plot twist in a spy movie, Mr. Anderson reveals he's been secretly visiting Briley, stirring the pot in this already boiling family drama. He quips about his ninja-like sneaking skills, and just when you think it's all tangled up, the next scene is about to throw another curveball.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Johnson herself has met me at the ballpark and let me see Briley. Her mother
That is a lie.
sneaks around, let me meet her, go at grocery stores, at football games and stuff. Yeah, they have, but it's always, he don't know nothing about it when they do.
We may have seen each other at the ballpark or something, but I've never intentionally carried my daughter to meet.
Your Honor, it was last year when she turned 3.
Cue dramatic music as Mr. Anderson's son steps up, throwing everyone for a loop with claims of secret family meetups orchestrated by Ms. Johnson. This soap opera level plot thickens, making everyone double check their family trees. And if you thought that was bonkers, the next scene is going to knock your socks off.
He has been to my function with us on Christmas. As a matter of fact, it was last year on Christmas. My father, I was in the car with him. He was like, I'm about to go pick up Briley. Came back up to my grandmother's house. Briley was up there. She still...
He had Briley at your grandmother's house?
At my grandmother's house.
As Judge Lake preps to unleash the DNA results, the air is so tense you could slice it with a butter knife. With everyone perched on the edge of their seats, popcorn at the ready, we're about to dive into a reveal that could flip their world on its head. The emotional roller coaster of this climax will leave you gobsmacked.
That is my husband. You don't
you
know
something
what
your
we
own
do.
kids.
Oh,
Let me
my
tell you
kid,
something.
man,
How you gonna tell me?
I'm scared that my husband, my whole marriage is riding on this. My marriage is going to be over.
A lot of stuff it'll change.
Well, we'll see.
A lot of stuff it'll change. First of all, like I said,
it's on there now.
Okay.
Do you all want to keep arguing back and forth, or do you want to hear the results?
Let's get these results.
And then, like a clown popping out of a tiny car, the DNA test results burst onto the scene, throwing everyone for a loop you didn't see coming.
It has been determined that her biological father is Mr. Anderson.
Your Honor, may I see my little sister? May I see my little sister? And I can show you that she does not, she doesn't acknowledge the fact,
Acknowledge she doesn't know y'all.
May I see my daughter?
It's up to me. I'm her mother.
I'm the
father. That's what I've had
to deal with right there.
Ms. Ferguson brings her mother to court, turning what you'd expect to be a dull day of legal proceedings into an episode of Who's Your Daddy that no one signed up for. This moment is like the season opener of a drama series you can't miss, showcasing the roller coaster of emotions and the tangled web of family secrets. Ms. Munsell, dropping a paternity bombshell with all the grace of a reality TV star, adds a layer of intrigue and suspense to the family saga. And just when you think you've seen it all, the next chapter promises even more twists and turns.
Miss Ferguson, you've brought your mother to court today because you were recently shocked to learn that Ken Ferguson, who raised you your entire life, may not be your biological father. Ms. Munsell, you acknowledge that you finally confessed to your daughter that you slept with more than one man at the time of her conception. You too are unsure what today's results will reveal. You repair the relationship with your daughter.
Alicia Ferguson, feeling more betrayed than someone who finds out their favorite series finale was just a dream, airs her grievances. It's like watching a live feed from the Jerry Springer Show, minus the chair throwing. As she navigates this emotional minefield, we get VIP tickets to the Ferguson family's dysfunction junction. The revelation of Alicia's feelings of neglect and betrayal is like adding a plot twist to an already spicy telenovela. If you're intrigued now, wait until you see what's coming next.
Please go check on Ms. Munsell. And Ms. Ferguson,
Yes, ma'am.
I need to understand, you were with the stepfather, your stepfather.
Yes.
And you finally just said to him.
Yes, I let it all out. Everything I was keeping secrets from him. Yes, I was supposed to be her little secret keeper. You know, I was supposed to be the only one to know that she was sleeping around. And
Okay.
I couldn't handle it anymore.
Ken Ferguson, who's pretty sure he's Alicia's bio dad, shares his doubts about paternity thanks to Diana Munsel's past escapades. As he spills the tea on Diana's infidelity and the heartache buffet it served, it's like peeking into a soap opera, reminding us that adulting is hard, especially with kids caught in the crossfire. This moment is like a spotlight on the drama and uncertainty cheating brings to the family dinner table, with a side of emotional turmoil. The story takes an even more compelling turn in the next scene.
Can you step up, please? You thought, Miss Ferguson, this young woman was your daughter.
Yeah, I believe she was my daughter.
Why do you have the doubt?
When I first met her at a party, I found out after this because that's when we met. She slept with 4 guys that night. It was my friend.
4 guys in one night?
Yes. One night.
Diana Munsel tries to slide into the apology DMs, hoping to patch things up with Alicia. It's like watching someone trying to glue a shattered vase back together. Messy, complicated, and with sharp edges. This part is a real-life lesson in saying my bad and the Herculean effort to mend fences, especially when you've turned the backyard into a war zone. It's about the bumpy road to forgiveness and the yearning for a Hallmark-worthy mother-daughter reunion. The climax of this saga is up next, and it's something you won't want to miss.
And admit to my face what she did was wrong, and I shouldn't have seen it, and I shouldn't have this feeling.
So, are you willing to give your mother a chance to apologize today? No matter what the result, will you give her a chance? I mean, as she stood here today, she appeared to be extremely emotional.
It's because she's never admitted.
When the paternity test results finally hit the scene, and just when you think it's all over, life yells encore. Because let's face it, there's always another surprise scene waiting in the wings.
When it comes to Alicia Ferguson, Mr. Ferguson, you are her father.
The case kicks off with everyone throwing their hats into the ring, where Ms. Allen makes her grand entrance, claiming Mr. Childs is the father of her daughter, Ms. Baylor. Mr. Childs and his wife, on the other hand, are in the denial camp, shaking their heads faster than a bobblehead on a bumpy road. Just when you think it can't get any wilder, the next segment proves you wrong.
Ms. Allen, you say that after a brief affair with Mr. Childs, you discovered you were pregnant with your daughter, Ms. Baylor. You say Mr. Childs acknowledged paternity until his wife convinced him otherwise. You intend to prove that Mr. Childs is, in fact, your daughter's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The paternity dispute intensifies with Ms. Allen and Mr. Childs, sharing their versions of the pregnancy announcement and ensuing conflicts, illustrating the complexity and emotional toll of the situation. In an unexpected twist, Mr. Childs admits his initial reaction was to check if storks were indeed involved, given the bewildering circumstances. Ms. Allen, not to be outdone, claims she considered naming the baby "Who's Your Daddy?" to keep the mood light amidst the tension. What happens next will surely catch you off guard.
You say you got pregnant, and once you got pregnant, did you tell Mr. Childs, I'm pregnant and I think it could be yours?
Actually, it was rumors, so he came to me.
You spread the rumor. People are coming to me.
If I had family, or whatever, but
why aren't you telling the truth? You didn't know who the father was.
Well, you knew that from day one.
You were telling that.
Knew that from day one.
That's not what you were saying, though. The rumor that you put out there.
Hold on.
Various testimonies and accusations are exchanged, including Ms. Allen's admittance to testing another man for paternity, shedding light on the confusion and mistrust surrounding Ms. Baylor's paternity. The plot thickens as a confused pizza delivery guy is also brought in for questioning after showing up at the wrong time too many times, making everyone question the pizza's role in this intricate drama. The next piece of the puzzle is even more bewildering.
That is true.
Tell the court about that.
That is true, but that was somebody that I wasn't even messing with him. This was something.
Why would you test someone you aren't messing with?
Because she was fishing. He came out and asked me, and he said, you know, I was messing with your mom around the time. I wanted to get a DNA test with you.
Okay, someone reached out to you, Ms. Baylor, and said, I think I may be your father.
The emotional and logistical challenges of establishing paternity are discussed, including past attempts to connect and acknowledge paternity, the role of child support, and the enduring hope for resolution and family bonds. Amidst the serious discussions, a lighthearted moment arises when someone suggests using a magic 8-ball for paternity answers, leading to laughs and a brief respite from the heavy atmosphere. But wait, there's a twist coming that will change everything.
She knew. I told her, sit down and told her the whole story.
Yeah, she told me after. She didn't tell me before, but she told me after the fact when my stepdad did say that.
Okay.
No, she sat down and talked to me when I brought it to her attention. Like, I don't know what's going on. I'm confused.
I know,
I'm confused too.
I know, and that's why I'm trying to understand this. At the end of the day, you have a right to understand
exactly
what happened. 11 years ago, you would have been 9, baby. Baylor.
Yes, ma'am.
So you made an attempt to meet Miss Baylor at 9 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
Final arguments and evidence, like the eyebrow-raising fact that Mr. Childs' biological kids seem to have an extra finger, talk about a handy inheritance, are laid out, ratcheting up the suspense for those DNA results. Everyone's on the edge of their seat, popcorn in hand, wondering if they're about to witness a real-life plot twist. The climax of this story is something you won't want to miss.
A DNA test, nothing. No. All right?
Your Honor, she just made me feel like she wanted me to be the father by name. So if someone asked her who Shy's father was, she could say me. You know, Your Honor, I'm not being funny or anything, but okay, I was a good catch. I'm not gonna lie, I was a good catch. So I can understand, you know, where she was coming from then. I would have made sure she was fine. I would have made sure the child was fine. All that would have been good.
The DNA test results come in hotter than a pot of tea on the stove, revealing Mr. Childs'
When it comes to 20-year-old Shanisha Baylor, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Child, you are not the father. I'm very sorry, Miss Baylor.
It's okay, Your Honor. You know, at the same time.
It's okay, honey. It's okay.
Okay, so Judge Lake, who's clearly had her morning coffee, greets the crowd with the enthusiasm of a host at a game show and dives straight into the juicy drama of Hicks versus Narvaez. Mr. Hicks, who seems as confused about baby names as he is about paternity, has dragged his ex-wife to court for a DNA test on their bundle of joy, Yazalin, amidst their tumultuous split. He's visibly flabbergasted, probably wondering if Maury Povich does group discounts. Brace yourselves. The plot thickens. In a moment you won't believe. Just you wait. The next scene will have your jaw on the floor.
You have brought your ex-wife to court and requested a paternity test to prove that you are indeed the biological father of her baby. Is it Yazalin? Yazalin. Beautiful. Who was born during your marriage. You state you are the only father she has known from cutting the cord in the hospital to signing her birth certificate, and are shocked and dismayed that your wife is now disputing that she is yours.
You won't believe what happens next. Mr. Hicks, channeling every soap opera character ever, shares his heartbreak and disbelief, painting a picture of a world turned upside down faster than a pancake at IHOP. Miss Narvaez, doubling down on her soap opera villain persona, insists that Mr. Hicks playing dad is as likely as finding a unicorn at a pet store. The drama thickens, ensuring the court's popcorn supply is going to take a hit. Next up, an emotional roller coaster that will have you on the edge of your seat. You're not ready for what's coming up.
How I was deceived is that she said that the baby, I believe that the baby is mine. And you try to say that the baby isn't ours, I don't believe that. You know?
You need to believe because
It's
she's not
good.
yours.
No, look at the baby.
Look at her. She's white. She looks like me. She looks nothing like you. You're hearing stories. It's irrelevant, the stories that you're hearing.
She looks nothing like me. She looks nothing like you. How you gonna say that?
She doesn't have to look like me. She's mine.
Would dad be your husband if you're in a marriage?
No, Your Honor.
Get ready for a plot twist that will turn everything on its head. In a twist worthy of an Oscar, Mr. Hicks gives a passionate defense of his dad credentials, arguing that fatherhood isn't just about DNA, but about who's there to check for monsters under the bed. His heartfelt speech about the true essence of being a dad adds a layer of depth to the circus, reminding everyone that amidst the chaos, there's a real family story unfolding. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more intense, hold on. The next revelation is going to flip everything upside down.
Right?
Yeah. The baby's name is Yazalin Savannah Janae Hicks, not Osorio. Hicks.
Any man can make a baby, but take
the father. Why did you let me cut the cord? Why did you give the baby my last name?
Exactly why I told you to sign your rights over. Have your last name back. We don't want it.
Hold on to your popcorn, this next part is a doozy. Carla Hicks, a relative, jumps into the fray with allegations of Miss Narvaez's infidelity and, hold on to your hats, possibly moonlighting as a lady of the night. This spicy addition throws a wrench into the already tangled web of the case, making everyone question what other skeletons might be dancing in Miss Narvaez's closet. This revelation sends shockwaves through the courtroom, turning what was already a circus into a full-blown reality TV drama, minus the commercial breaks and dramatic background music. But wait, there's more drama ahead that will leave you speechless. Trust me, you'll want to see what's next.
Was there anything she was hiding from you when she met you?
No, ma'am.
So everything about her life
she told me she didn't have no sexual contact with him. She wasn't living with him. Even her mom told me she wasn't living with him.
She was lying.
But when you met Ms. Narvaez, you knew she was a married woman, but she just was not living with her husband. That's what you heard.
That's what she told
you were
me.
told. You believe you are the father.
I am the father. Because father's not the only one that has them and leaves them. Father's the one that spends time, quality time, and be there for them, tell them what's right and what's wrong.
This next moment is the big one, folks, as Judge Lake gears up to unveil the DNA test results. You could cut the tension with a knife, assuming you could find one strong enough. It's the moment of truth, the peak of the roller coaster, the final countdown. Choose your metaphor. They all fit. This is where hopes and fears collide, creating a suspenseful climax that has everyone on the edge of their seats. Popcorn forgotten. The anticipation is palpable, with the potential to either mend hearts or break them into a million pieces, proving once and for all that daytime TV has nothing on real-life drama. What happens next will redefine everything you've just seen. Just when you think you've seen it all, the story takes an even crazier turn.
I'm ready for results. Hating Mr. Hicks is that because this child was born during your marriage, you are presumed to be the father. You are the legal father of the child. You signed the birth certificate. You were there for the birth. Most men would come into court trying to rebut that presumption, but you've come into this court because you want it validated.
This part is truly unforgettable. The bombshell that Mr. Hicks isn't Yazalin's real dad turns the courtroom into a roller coaster of emotions, tossing in a salad of feelings, tangled relationships, and the messy spaghetti of paternity issues. Miss Narvaez's stone-cold non-apology and Judge Lake's stern wag of the finger bring a spicy dish of moral and ethical quandaries to the table. It's like watching a soap opera, but with legal documents and less hair-pulling. And let's not forget the awkward silence that followed, so thick you could cut it with a gavel. The next turn of events is something no one could have predicted. Oh, but it gets even wilder from here, if you can believe it.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Hicks, you are not her father.
You should have just signed your name and you would have looked stupid. Did
He
I
was
not
cheating
tell you
and got
sign your
caught
right
just
over?
now. Even more right now. I hope you know you just busted your own bubble. It's all good.
Whatever, okay.
As a woman, at least say, Robert, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? For him playing video
sorry
games?
for what? For being a liar, for being a manipulator, on your unborn child when you knew he wasn't the father. You were looking for a substitution for the one you couldn't be with.
Then, boom, Mr. Osorio is.
Mr. Osorio, you also agreed and submitted to a DNA test. You are her father. Take the silence in the courtroom right now. Just take it in, and there is a lesson in this moment. You believed this baby was yours. You stated that to this court.